How are your players and yourself feeling about people now talking about Motherwell as title contenders, or at least in the conversation?
Well, we try not to really be too fussed about how people talk about us, because then the risk is, if that's too important for you in a business that is very open and public, and then you risk drifting with these emotions back and forward. It's not going to help you perform. We could have lost 10, and then if we pay too much attention on all the negativity that comes with that, then you end up not believing in yourself, being able to actually raise your level and get out of that. And it's the same here. But obviously it's positive. There's a lot of positivity and optimism around us, and I think we share that positivity and optimism in terms of where we are and what we can achieve. Not so much specifically about what's been said about us, but more that we are confident going into every game with belief that we can compete.
Do you think Motherwell can win the league?
Look, it's a question that will attract a lot of headlines if I start answering this question. For me, it's an irrelevant question, and I know there's been a lot of talk about us being in a title race now. I think in terms of being in a race, racing with other clubs, there need to be some conditions that are more or less the same, and we just compete in a total different league. Even though we're in the same football league, but there are some circumstances that the other teams above us have in their hands that we don't have, and that's why it's irrelevant for us to discuss that question or to approach that internally or externally. What's important is that we're developing and we're growing as a club, and that we are aware of where we need to grow as a club, and there's so many things we need to improve and lift in order for us to actually answer that question with a yes. We are in a title race or whatever, that's what we want to be, because we are still Motherwell FC with a lot of things you can just look around, and we have so many things we need to develop before that's a question we will ask ourselves, or that is relevant for us to answer. But if you ask me or us whether we think we can win the next game, that we are really positive that we can. If you ask us if we can beat any team in this league on the day, then we will say the same. And no matter when you ask us, if it was in the beginning of the season or towards the end, and that's basically the most important thing for us.
Have you had to tell your players to block outside noise?
No, I'm not telling them to block outside noise. I'm just telling. I think the most important message is that all the discussions and opinions about what we can achieve and where we should see ourselves, or where people see us now as contenders for this and this. It was also about suddenly we were favourites to win the Scottish Cup, which I really don't think we were at any time. We lost the League Cup semi-final to the team who ended up winning it. We lost. We got beaten in knocked out of the Scottish Cup by the team who won it the last season. So I don't think we were really favourites there. But it's all just obviously a lot of excitement about our performances, and rightly so. But it's we're trying to just focus on what Sots needs to improve to become a better player, even at 34. Or what Paul needs to improve at 35. What Tom needs to develop to be even more competitive. In what we're going into, and how we need to improve the structure and make sure that St. Mirren don't get a counter-attack chance after 2 minutes, because we are not in control of that situation. We need to pull out a wonder save from Callum. The game could have been different because they had some moments in the beginning of the game, and these are the things we need to improve and sharpen up if we want to keep producing the results that we have done.
It's not just your players that have been discussed about, Jens. you're being discussed a lot because of the success that you're bringing here. How do you feel about that when you're linked with X, Y, and Z jobs?
Well, I think it is nicer than being that is the talk about you than it is that I should pack my bags and get the hell out of here. And it's part of the job, isn't it? That there's a lot of opinions about you, whether it's one way or the other, and take it quite relaxed about that.
I know you don't want to talk about the title race, but with the momentum that you're building here, how much is the belief building in your team?
A lot. And it has been over the season. I think we saw that in pre-season, even though we had some difficult games, we really had to fight really hard to just get draws and wins over teams that are playing and competing in lower divisions. But the confidence kept growing, and it has done for a while, because we've been good at keeping each other on the toes and being hungry for more. And we've stuck to our values and our principles and our identity, and that's going to be extremely important if we want to get the maximum out of this season. We need to stick with that. We need to believe that what has brought us here is going to bring us to and lead us to the maximum output. That's why I encourage the players to keep enjoying themselves, keep feeling free, keep being brave. You see a lot of teams who lose a little bit of bravery or fluency towards the end of the season, where everything is getting really tight, and now we have to we need to win now, because otherwise we won't achieve what we want or what everyone expects. I think our main thing is for us, it is to make sure that what will bring us the maximum achievable is us doing what we do, and then obviously keep being disciplined, keep working hard, and keep chasing more quality out of each training session.
And speaking of enjoying themselves, the players certainly enjoy themselves playing here, don't they? Is there a real buzz when they're running out here now?
Yeah, we've enjoyed that throughout the whole season. We've connected well with the fans from the early stage, and that connection has grown. The support has been massive, also away. We've had some really good away trips, also with fantastic support along the way. We're going to need that throughout the rest of the season, playing some big venues, and hopefully we can keep that connection.
And the defensive record is now one of the best in Europe. Has that been really the key and the base to your success here? That's
one of the keys. I think I've said many times that we need to be a very well balanced team to be competitive over a full season, and we obviously want to invest a lot in our attacking game. A lot of numbers, a lot of runs, a lot of intensity, a lot of risk. And to be able to do that, to be a possession-based team who plays with a lot of risk, you need to be absolutely top at recovering the ball and winning it back. So that's a massive thing we keep pushing every day. How hard do we work individually and especially for each other to win the ball back when we lose it? So people feel free to still be brave and dare and do the things that will still hurt the opponents.
You mentioned feeling bravery. You're obviously touched on it there. When you work so hard to win the ball back, you can't be free on the ball and brave. How do you go about daily basis? Is that how you work? Is that on a daily basis to get the freedom to play the possession football you play at the weekend as well?
Well, obviously we set up drills and training and training sessions and a style that allows them and puts them in positions where they need to play with risk, but also with a high reward when we are successful in beating pressure, and then obviously also drills where they are closely connected. There's a good structure in the team all the time, and then drills where they are both punished if they don't work hard enough to win it back when we lose it, but also rewarded when they do. naturally from within the game structure and the drill structure, and that is a massive. And then we push each other, push them hard, and they push each other and encourage them to push each other, and are really clear on the details in terms of how we want to look.
You mentioned the connection with the fans. I think the club are obviously trying to push everyone come home this weekend to get a bit of crowd. Has that been one of the kind of really satisfying things when you've seen the home crowds here improve throughout the season?
No, absolutely. It's I think one of our main purposes to as a football club, it is to make sure that the community and everyone who wants to support and who are the foundation of this club are excited and love what we do and are proud of their local team. So it's obviously something that we take great pride in delivering and giving them the opportunity to identify with who we are and what we do. For now it's we're in a good place and we need to cherish that and keep respecting that they are really investing a lot in us and keep wanting to pay that back.
Jens, what do you think the Motherwell story and the Hearts story is doing for the league and for the game in this country?
I think first of all it's obviously attracting a lot of attention, also from abroad, what's happening here, because it doesn't happen very often. Usually you have two teams who've taken off at this point of the season, and then so it gives a lot of attention first and foremost, and a lot of debate and a lot of opinions and a lot of interesting discussions within your field. Second of all, I think it's extremely good for the league and for the clubs and especially the big clubs will probably benefit for this over time. That there's more pressure and they need to raise the bar in terms of fighting for their dominance and their position in the league. So I think it's beneficial for everyone, and obviously now more clubs are pushing each other to produce higher quality, and hopefully that will benefit everyone and also motivate smaller clubs to want more and to be more ambitious.
What are you expecting from Dundee United? Their kind of last chance to live now, aren't they, in terms of trying to get last top six?
Yeah, look, good point. That they are desperate to go out and win. I think they've been unlucky in many games, and obviously not found the same fluidity and influence and quality like they did the last season so far in this league. But they have played a lot of tight games where they have felt on top and where little moments have decided the game to not go in their favour. So it's still a dangerous team. When we played them last time up there, it could have gone both ways. It was a game of few chances, and even the other night you saw them at the end where they when they get the ball in the box from crosses or set plays or that direct play, they can be really dangerous to cope with. And if they have taken more of these moments, they would have been in a different place. But now I'm absolutely sure they will give it their best shot, and we need to be on top.
Jens, could I just ask one more about your defence, and particularly the Scottish boys in the defence? Do you think they should be pushing for recalls back into the Scotland squad now, given how well they've been doing?
Look, I think that there are a national team head coach and his staff who are looking at them and looking at how do they think that they might fit into his plans and the way he wants to play football. So I don't think it's for me to tell another coach how to run his team and make decisions on the players. But I do think that the Scottish players we have in this squad are doing their best to attract attention to their performances and showing that if he thinks that they could fit their team, then I think they're really trying their best to convince him that he should keep an eye on them and maybe have them in mind for the summer.
Yeah, there's been a fair bit of backlash since Callum Slattery's incident with Richard King. What do you make of that situation?
No, I think when these things happen, and it happens now and then, that players overplay situations and exaggerate, have exaggerated reactions to an action. I don't think it excuses the action from King, because it's never okay to swing an arm at an opponent. Then it's always up to the referees to decide whether it's the force is enough for a red card or not. But you have to, as a player, in my opinion, and that's what we try to build here, culture, our reactions have to be in proportion with the action itself. And it wasn't, no matter if he just caught him lightly or not. It's not okay, and it's something that we have discussed internally, and it's left over from an old culture in football where everyone tries to, sometimes when they're desperate, try to cheat and steal a little bit to get things tipping your way. And we don't want to be that team going forward. So it's something we have addressed, that it's something we need to learn from. As I said, it doesn't excuse the action from King, but we want to try and really leave that behind us going forward. I think a good example is the first incident with Gogic, where he gets a tackle, which is not a nice tackle to receive. Obviously, he goes down, and there's a reaction which is in full proportion with the action itself, and that's where we want to try and be. And I have urged everyone to do better in terms of how to react in situations like that going forward, because we want to be a team with integrity and respect for the game.
How's the squad looking? Is it same as last weekend, or anything in and out?
Yeah, obviously Lucas is back now from suspension. We have Zach Robinson, who's still following his recovery plans from his long-term injury, and then Johnny Kotrumbus has been through some different examinations with his picked up an injury, and he will be out for a period of time. How long, we don't know, but he won't be back in the next couple of weeks, but he will be back at some point during the spring. And the same with Cal Hendry, who was undergone a little surgery for an injury, and I'm hopeful and optimistic that both Cal and Johnny will be back during the spring.
What was Callum's injury? Sorry.
Well, he had some issues with his groin that we had to look at.